Okay, so we're going to put the rockers back in their hole, so we need to put oil in the hole. You gotta make sure to align also the part here with the valve, and we'll put oil in the hole there. So when we spray oil in there, it gets into the hydraulic pusher, making sure it's all oiled properly. Then put it in the hole. We also all of the cam followers, the little bearing on top of those. You can see here the two new rocker. The pin that the pusher, the lifters, hydraulic lifters, those are not coming with the cam, so it's just a matter of it's just a clip. It's very easy to remove. You won't have any trouble with that. It's like you go sideways and then you flip it under the clip. Let me show you with the old ones. There's like a clip on there, so you can tell where it's larger. This is where you get, and then you just pop it in the cup there. Okay, so we have now to install the jig to push down the valves in order to be able to put the cam. So the valve, the last time I used it was set for the intake one, so I'm setting it again on the intake. So this is the exhaust, this is the intake side. So cylinder 1 here, 2, 3. So we're setting it for cylinder number 3. So now we're gonna torque it slightly until it reaches the stoppers. There's a stopper underneath, which are the steel, the set screws in there. So we just go gently. You can tell the valves are compressing. Until it reaches the bottom. That's it. Now it's set. So this is now set. So we're good now to install the camshaft on that side. There's just one locating pin for the cam. This is the way it's built. It's like a shell that you put there. Now we put oil where the cam is going to sit. We're going to remove the previous steel rings for the Vanos here. Now we're gonna put composite rings. It's gonna be tough to shift it on the other side, huh?
Mm-hmm.
Unless you oof. Mhm. So they're both good. Okay, so now it's going to be time to insert the cam in there. These two cams have to be pointed down because they will replace the jig there. And if you want to be 100% sure, another check is the head here, head shape. It's got a point toward 45 degree on the downside. Looking from transmission side on the, this is cylinder 6. And if you go all the way on the other end on cylinder 1, the slots here, they have to be vertical because the jig that's going to hold the cam is going to be located like that. So these are the 3 ways you can make sure that the cam is properly located. Okay, so we're torquing at 71 pound-inch. Metal going toward the outside. This is round 1. You gotta make sure that these surface align. So we put the punch here because these are grooved, and with a clamp just to clamp the shell together so it's flat, because this surface and there's another one on the other side, they both have to be flush like this here, because otherwise the shell would be shift from side to side, and it would be the crankshaft that would be kind of squeezed in between. So torquing at 71 pound-inch. Remove the clamp here. So now we need to add 60 degree to all of those, same sequence, starting from the middle going toward the outside. Okay. Okay. Check. Okay. Degree. Now it's time to install the jig. this is holding the cam there. We can release this thing. Put this thing here. Okay, so now we're setting these two valves down. Slowly. Okay, that's it. This is done. Now it's a matter of setting the other cam on the other side. Okay, so the cam there on that end, 45 degree on the downside, and here slot straight. So we can put the locking jig here. We put oil all around. Was the chain guide that was blocking it. Okay, so we use a swivel extension in order to get these bolts, the bolts that are under the jig, the 3 bolts that we can see here at the bottom. So this bolt here, this bolt, and this bolt, because the jig is over them, so we need the swivel in order to get them from the side. This is the last 60 degree we're doing. All the 3 of those, they need their 60 degrees. So the two cam are in place. We need to put this jig in there to lock the cam. Then we're going to be able to release that thing in the middle. C'est bon, je fais doucer. Okay, the chain guide unit was a bit shifted on that side and it was kind of stuck. It was stuck somewhere from the bottom. We just played with it at the bottom and it released it. So I think it was good for you to maybe share that information, let's say, to you guys. So now we put these two bolts in the middle. These are steel bolts, don't need to be replaced. The torque we found for those were 75 pound-inch, so we're gonna torque them. And there's a third one that goes in the hole right there, that screw also to the back plate, and the same torque for that one as well. That's at least what we found. Again, double check on your end. Okay, this bolt here, we're not going to be able to torque it because the tool I have doesn't go through. I gotta go with a wrench that is ratchet with an adapter, so we're just going to use our gut feeling for it. You need to pull up the slack on the chain upward before you shift the guide to screw it in place, because once you screw it in place, it locks the chain. And then you cannot pick up the slack after that. The slack is like squeezed. Okay, so now we're gonna insert the sprockets. So the sprocket, you need to check on it. The top plate, it's the same for both of those. So, but we didn't took it apart. You see, it's written EX for exhaust. So that's the referral. It's not that plate. So the exhaust side is that side here. That's IN for intake. So these are the old bolts for now, just to hold the whole thing in place, but we have to replace these bolts. So we're gonna do that in fact right away. You also gotta make sure that the sprocket align. It's like there's a groove. It's a circular groove that fit the groove on the tip of the camshaft. So it's important you align that. Okay, so this tool has got to be fixed on the front end here. The pins here, the two pins, gonna fit in the two holes there to locate these. This is what the cam shaft is gonna read. So now we're gonna line them up with the holes. Then we bolt them in place. So then we're gonna have to torque these bolts here on the end to lock the jig on place. Okay, once this is done, we're gonna have to put here a pre-tensioner that's gonna go in the tensioner hole. We're gonna do that right away. Okay, so we're going to insert that thing for pre-tensioning the timing chain. This is just barely torqued by hand. Okay, so then we can torque the sensors, the metal bolts. Okay, so we're now torquing these bolts 177 pound-inch. This is the first level of torque. Okay, same both sides. Okay, then it's 180 degrees each. That's what we found. So again, double check on your own. Done. So now we're going to put the new tensioner. Tensioner is on the exhaust side. So now time to remove all the jigs. So now we're gonna make 2 turns of crankshaft clockwise to make sure that everything's fine. So now we're just making sure that after turning the crankshaft that this aligns and that the line on the bottom aligns. So everything aligned. This mark we did on the crankshaft and the upper part aligned. So we had to turn the crank a little more, and that fits pretty good actually. If we look at it, it slides well. So the 2 camshafts together are very good. If we look at the crankshaft mark, it's a little bit off, just a little slight touch off, but the this little notch off, I'm pretty sure that the Vanos will compensate it just like it was not there. It's fair enough. If it's not the case, no problem. We'll have to replace the bolt here and redo the alignment, but I think it's fine because these bolts anyway, if we took them out, we need to replace them. So as I said, this little notch, because the plastic pin that we had to remove else to locate the top dead center of cylinder 1 is not as precise as we did by looking at the top dead center at the piston directly. So this is done deal. Timing chain is on. Chain is going to need to be oiled. It's not oiled yet, but the pan is not installed yet, so I'm going to install the pan later on, and then we're going to oil the whole thing.